see me on the vibe, yeah, I know you know. Try to catch me slipping, but you know I won't. I got covering, watching every move. Never see me give up, now I'm in a no growth. Yeah, 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 in a no growth. Yeah, 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 in a no growth.
Hey, what's going on? It's your favorite girl next door, Day. Look, being a creative can be super rough. I mean, just the fact of pushing everything that you got out into the world, not only to be accepted, but to be perfected. In the last 5 years alone, we have lost some of the greatest creatives that have ever lived. Don Cornelius, Kate Spade, Prince, Robin Williams, and the list goes on. But was their tragic death because of mental illness or simply because they felt they weren't good enough? Hey everybody, welcome back to Seize the Day. I am your host, your favorite girl next door, and I have a special guest with me. I am so excited. I've been calling her Little Sis for like ever. Either Little Sis or Little Bit. But she has a name. Her name is Kiara Hines. Welcome to the show, Kiara.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So Kiara, for those who don't know, she is an actress. She does the theatrical performances, like Broadway shows and stuff. So
not Broadway yet. Yet though.
We're speaking that though. Yes, we're definitely speaking that. So Kiara, can you please tell me like exactly like how did all this start? Because the last I remember is you being Vanessa's little sister.
Yes.
Vanessa, by the way, is her older sister who's like one of my really good friends. But yes, like you were like her little sister.
Yes.
And next thing I know, I just see you like performing everywhere across the United States. I'm like, what? Okay.
Well, speaking of my sister, I really do credit my sister for like the first seeds of performing and really storytelling. That's she showed me how to express yourself through telling your story. She used to write songs when we were little. We would write songs, right? We would write songs when we were little together. We wrote like crazy songs. She would write songs about boys, and I'm like younger than her. So I'm just like, you know. But she showed me how to express yourself through art and through performing and things like that. So through her, that's really where I learned it. And then fast forward to high school, I did theater in high school, but I did mostly chorus.
Okay.
And I did show choir and chorus. And while I was in show choir, I was the weird kid in show choir that was like, you know, we're singing pop songs and like, you know, singing and dancing to pop songs. And I'm like, but guys, what about the characters, you know? Like, what is the story we're telling? And they're like, we're singing Britney Spears, like, calm down, you know? Like, Britney Spears is not telling any type of story. But I'm like, come on, guys, like, what do you think about, you know, just being extra?
Yeah, it's okay.
So
we all need a little extra.
Right. I'm sure everybody was so annoyed with me, but through that I realized that I do love singing and dancing, but for me the heart of it is telling a story and you know, just being able to communicate what someone is feeling on stage and all of that, and that's really what spoke to me as a performer. And so through that, after graduating high school, I found the avenues, I found ways to, you know, keep doing it. I went to college for musical theater, and I graduated my degree.
What school did you go to?
ECU. Art.
I always wanted to go to that school, never made it there, but it's okay.
And and through ECU, I really just grew so much as a performer. It's crazy. It's one of those moments where you realize how much like God is leading you, because I didn't know what to be looking for in education as far as like college. I just knew what I liked to do, and I knew that ECU had it. So in my own ignorance, I applied. I got in. I got into the program. But 100% God was looking out for me and definitely allowed me to be in the program that I was meant to be in. I learned so much there.
Last 5 years, we lost some of the greatest creatives that have ever lived. You know, like Prince, who else? Kate Spade, Robin Williams. You know, Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, just great creatives, you know, and we lost them so tragically. And I was sitting thinking, like, you know, one day, and I'm just like, man, all these great creatives, you know, that to some people would say they were unsatisfied, you know, with their success, you know, why would they, you know, take their own life, and why would they, you know, but as a creative, I also understand that we put out so much for the people to not just for the people to accept, but for us as a creative to perfect.
Yes.
So I'm like, is it mental illness, or is it simply a person, a creative, not feeling like they're good enough? So I wanted to actually, like, being that you're in the performance, you know, arena, and you're always pushing and putting yourself out there for people, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think it's one, we are not taught as performers to not be perfectionists. You know, there's a level of perfection that you want to get in your craft. You want to get to the point where you are like, you're at that level, you know, where you can trust your craft and all of that. But at the same time, we're human beings. We're not gonna be perfect. No matter what, no matter how hard you try, you're gonna mess up at something, you know. But no one teaches us that. No one teaches us how to cope with not being perfect at something that we love to do. So we beat ourselves up over and over and over again. I mean, in college, and those 4 years, watching all of us just beat ourselves up over things. You know, we're training. We're learning how to do this. It's okay that we're not, we're not slinging it out yet. But we would just beat ourselves up, and just, we were just so in our heads about everything that we're doing instead of enjoying the training. I'm just gonna enjoy what I'm doing, because I'm not gonna get a chance like this again. So I think it's a mixture of that perfectionism, and then also dealing with mental illness. I feel like a lot of the times, especially with the younger generation, we haven't given enough light to things like anxiety and things like depression. Those are real things, and those are things that are on the rise in our communities that we need to talk about. And so both of these conversations just aren't happening. And so you have people like a Robin Williams, who has been the funny guy forever, but nobody is really checking in on him to see how he is on the inside. How is all of this? How has he been adjusting to all of this fame that's been happening for all of these years? Because no one is going to ask Robin Williams how he's doing. Because he's funny. And he's always happy.
So he's okay.
But at the same time, it's like, because we have never had these conversations. I know that in my own family, like thinking back about mental illness and on my parents' sides of the family, they never talked about that stuff. So when that arises, no one knows what to do. And if it gets bad enough, they may do something like take their own life. And so it's like, we gotta start having these conversations about what to do, because we're leaving young people out here to fend for themselves.
That's so good that you said that, because I was talking to my parents about the same topic, and what I brought up was, especially just in the Black community, like, because that's the community I'm a part of, so I can speak about that very passionately. In our community alone, I realized that when it comes to mental illness, we don't like to label ourselves, because we have to be the strong. You get what I'm saying? Like, for so many generations, like, we were known to be strong, like we endure, and we push forward. So for us to feel weak, or or for us to feel like we just need a break, it's looked at as like weak. And so even like, growing up in the country, my mom is from Santee, which is a small little town close to Georgetown, which is another small town, which is another small town close to Myrtle Beach.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
If I say Myrtle Beach, I'm pulling you in, like, okay, you got it, okay. But even dealing like with them, when I was growing up, people would, I would have family members who would act out, or, to me was a little bit strange, but because we can't label anybody, it's ain't nothing wrong with that boy.
Yes.
Ain't nothing wrong with that girl.
Yes.
She just crazy in the head. Something's wrong. Like,
Yes.
and it is swept under the rug.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, like, what is this?
Yes.
Like, because that's not normal.
And if you treat it like any other disease or any other thing that's going on, you can learn to work with it. You can learn to do something with it and be even stronger.
That's right.
You know, like
That's so right.
if you build up, like for instance, you have a cold. If you build up your immune system, you aren't so susceptible to colds anymore. You know,
That's good.
so if you build up, like if you get the help that you need for whatever is going on in your mental sense, if you need therapy or whatever it is, you build yourself up. You learn how to cope with those things, so it doesn't hit you as hard. You know,
it gives you almost like a cushion to fall on.
Yes.
That's good.
So you know what to do, but we don't treat it in the same ways because it's invisible. So you can't really see. You can't see someone, you know, as you see someone's arm messing up, so you think they would do it with the doctor.
Right.
You know, you can't see someone's brain.
Yeah.
So even when someone's smiling in your face, like a Robin Williams, you don't know what's going on inside their brain.
You know, it's so funny that you said that because, like, I seen a meme on social media, and it said a lot of people think, and it was like a dual picture, and it said on the top, it said a lot of people think that this is what depression looks like, and it was a girl in the corner like crying and stuff, but then at the bottom it said, but actually this is what depression looks like, and it was a picture of Robert Williams laughing, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, like that is so true,
and especially, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But with performers, because we're good at our jobs, you know. I tell this to people all the time because it's something that I struggled with too. Yeah. And for him, it's how he works. Yeah. He has to be the funny guy to feed his family, you know, put food on the table. So it's like, if this is how I'm gonna work, then of course I'm gonna put it on. Yeah. Of course I'm not gonna let the world see this. So as a society, it's like we created that because we're giving money to him for him not being himself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, and it's systematic because it goes on and on and it repeats itself, and you know, even like, and it bleeds over not just to performers who are in front of people, like on the stage or on the big screen, but people who are behind the scenes, you know, like a Kate Spade, you know, who it's not her that you see, but it's her product.
Yes.
You know, like her name is out there, you know her name, you know her pieces, you know her purses, her wallets.
Yes.
But you don't know her.
Yes, and you get this assumption about who she is and how happy she should be.
Because her stuff is so lively and bright. So she's lively and bright.
Yes. But you have no idea what's going on behind closed doors, behind you know what she's dealing with, and no one is asking.
Do you think that people, especially in this generation, do you think people not being able to digest rejection has a lot to do with it?
Yes, I think that, like I said, it's just one of those things where the conversation is not happening. We're not being taught skills to cope with it, you know, and what it really, especially when you're talking about creatives, what it feels like as a creative to be rejected.
And I feel what really bothers me a lot, and social media has been such a great help to so many people's careers, but it's been a downfall to people. If that makes sense.
No, 100%.
Like people's careers have been amazing through social media, but people have taken a downfall because now it's like I see success, I see where people are, and it happens for them. Yes. But I'm putting my content up, and it's not happening for me. It's not. Am I good enough? Is this okay? Does this look good?
Yeah. Into that instant gratification that we have just kind of adapted ourselves to need. Yeah. To need that instant, oh, who liked my picture? Oh, who shared my video kind of thing. Where it's like you don't see the backs, the behind the scenes of what anybody's doing.
That's right.
So you don't know the work that someone has put in. You know, I just watched a YouTuber. She was talking about how she's been in the game for like 10 years on YouTube. Yeah. And you know, a friend of mine just started her YouTube journey, and she's already like, "Where are my subscribers?" and all of this stuff. And to me, it's just like this YouTuber put in 10 years. Yeah. So she started with like 30 subscribers, you know, and who knows how long that went on until she just kept at it, kept at it, and kept at it until she got all of the subscribers that she has today and all of the success that she has today. Right. But a lot of the times, because we don't see that, and I don't know if it's, I mean, I'm still processing, but I'm not sure if it's anyone's, you know, it's not our right to see that, you know. I they don't owe me
Nope.
to see the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So if they want to put up what they want to put up, and if it's all positive stuff, then it's all positive stuff. It's my job to make sure that I'm not comparing my humble beginnings to where she is after 10 years.
That's right.
You know? Yeah.
So, and on top of that, just because somebody put in 10 years, and this is just another that just popped into my head, just because somebody puts in 10 years in front of the camera, what happens to that person who was working on everything for 15 years, and all of a sudden somebody's like, oh, okay, because they was doing something in church, or they was doing something, you know, at a community center, and somebody's like, hey, have you decided to start a YouTube channel? This would be great.
Yes.
And because of all the work that they put in for the 15 years behind the scenes, people are in an instant ready to follow. So it might look like they had overnight success.
You never
but
know.
Yeah.
It is a great tool.
Absolutely.
I wonder how we can make it more healthy. I wonder how we can look out for those who are younger than us.
It's like the new junk food.
Yes.
It is. It's like the new junk food, and it's like, okay, we need to find a healthy alternative.
Yes, it's good in moderation.
Absolutely.
You know, you can have a couple cookies.
Yeah.
But you can't be sitting with the Oreos all day.
Yeah, you get the whole bag. Right.
Yeah,
That's real. That's really good.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation though, because I just feel like we just kind of skirt over it a little bit.
We
You know,
do.
you see like at the family reunion, you see your little cousin who is just glued to their phone.
Yeah.
All the time, and you're just like, come on, like come hang out.
Yeah.
But you're like, you know, they're a teenager.
But even if
you know.
let's get deeper, because it's like, even in relationships, there's people that don't even know each other, because they'll sit in the same room with each other. Instead of doing this, they're doing this, and this is our quality time. We're both on our phones.
And
we're both.
It's like for me
But
personally,
then they're ready for marriage.
Yeah.
They're ready for marriage. Like, you don't know who you're sitting next to.
Yes.
But then when we see a case on TV where the person snaps and something unfortunate happens, it's like, oh my goodness, she didn't see the signs? No, she didn't see the signs.
She was on her phone.
She was on her phone, right? Exactly. And I mean, like, not to, like, you know, make a joke about that, because it's such a serious situation, and it's scary. It is so scary. Like, but it's like one of those things you laugh not to, because it's funny, but you laugh in disbelief. Like, this is what our world has come to.
People are not taking the time to look up and pay attention, and you know, like for me, if I'm going on a date with someone, my phone is in my purse.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna check it. I'm not gonna look at it.
I gotta watch you.
Yeah, I gotta watch you, and it's also like disrespectful.
It is.
Low key, like, you know.
No, that's high key.
Right,
Disrespectful.
For me, I can tell everything I need to know about you if you continuously are like, and you don't get a second date.
Who's more important on that phone?
Right.
That's the first thing. As a female, I'm like, who's more important on that phone? You know? But
everything I need to know.
Like I said, I gotta watch you. I need to see how your eyes shift.
Right.
Like if it shifts too much, you know. Oh, this is so
Yeah.
good. And it's so loaded.
Yes,
you know,
it's because
loaded.
it's a conversation that we just haven't had for so long.
Yeah.
We're kind of like skirting over this issue of like social media and what it's doing to our society, that we're not talking about it, and we're not like getting into where it can go wrong and where it can really take a turn for the worse.
Yeah.
And I get scared for generations younger than, you know, myself, because I remember a world without social media and without technology and the ways that we have it now.
Yeah.
But they don't.
Yeah.
So all they know is likes. All they know is shares. All they know is all of those things.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're being taught how to turn it off, or how to not crave instant gratification.
Yeah.
Because for me, I know when I'm craving that there's something wrong, and I need to like unplug for a little bit. But because it's the new normal, I wonder how they're being taken care of in that way. I'm not 15, so I don't know.
I just remember when Instagram had like, when it collapsed for like those 14 hours,
Yeah.
people were legit losing their minds.
Yes.
Like they were losing their minds. And even that saying alone says a lot. They were losing their minds over not being on social media.
Not being plugged in. Yeah.
So if your mind is being lost through a device, like
it can get so bad, because if your entire life is wrapped up into that,
I mean,
then,
literally.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine how many people will find their minds? If they will lose their minds,
Right.
Listen here.
That's a word.
Okay.
That's a word for somebody out there.
If they can lose their minds in a phone or in a device on social media, if they decide to close it, think about how many minds can be found.
Yes. And I think the problem with social media and why it's so complex is that it is a good thing. It's like a really good thing to have, a good tool to have. It's a good marketing tool. It's good for recreational uses, just to have fun and show your life. Like I feel like that is the key. I feel like is conversation.
Absolutely.
Is talking about these things. Even with people who don't have the same feelings, who don't agree. Some people see social media as just the light of the world, And I like let's talk about it. Let's dish it out. Let's talk about where we are with that and with mental illness and mental awareness and self-care and big creatives. How can we all just like talk about how to make this better? Because the more that we're silent about it, the worse these situations get. The more people feel the need to hide, the more people feel the need to not talk about what's going on the inside. And I just feel like it's 2019. Like we should be able to talk about what's going on.
That's right.
You should be able to say, because here's the thing, if we normalize that bad days are bad days, then people wouldn't feel so like something's wrong with me, Everybody has bad days, but we don't talk about it, we don't say, it's okay if you have a bad day. It's like something's wrong, especially like in the Black community and Christian community. It's like if you have a bad day,
oh my goodness,
you need to run to the altar. Sometimes it's like, it's been a bad week.
Listen, let me tell you, that's so funny you said that. My pastor, Pastor Sherman Blanton. Hey, Pastor. he preached recently at Bible study, and he said a quote, and when I tell you, it hit me so hard. He said, struggle is not abnormal. Like, struggle is not abnormal, but what's abnormal is how you respond.
Yes, and that's key.
And it's so crazy because, like, Jesus struggled. Like people, like great people in history struggled.
All struggled.
But how you respond and how you use that struggle to propel you and push you forward, it makes a big difference. Are you going to sit there and waddle in it and be like, oh well, it's me? Or are you going to get up, pick yourself up, and continue on forward?
It's like how you react to it. It helps you and helps other people, because the more that you pick yourself up, the more that you say to yourself, like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna get to this. That gives you, it opens your eyes, because it really makes you feel like if I was hurting so bad on this day, how many people that I pass are hurting? How many people can I ask how they're doing and like really mean it? How many friends am I gonna text and say, hey, how's it going? I haven't heard from you in a little bit. I know this happened to you a couple weeks ago. I just want to check in. Because it's like I personally know that I've been there before.
Absolutely. And not only that, but just we have so many people who watch us on a daily basis that we don't even know that watches us. So just us picking ourselves up and moving forward, like, gives the other person that's watching you, man, if they got up and move forward, I can do it too.
There's hope there. There's always hope.
You create hope for someone. That's right. Wow, Kiara, that was, I'm so happy that you came. This is amazing, and I appreciate you so much for being here on the show today.
Thank you.
You guys, look, it's Kiara Hines, the Kiara Hines. Look, I'm going to say like that, because listen here, soon and very soon, you will be seeing her on Broadway.
I hope.
It's happening. So do you want to tell people how they can find you, like follow you, look you up, all that good stuff?
So I'm on all the social medias. I'm on Facebook as Kiara Hines. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Heinz, Heinz, ketchup with 3 P's, KETCHUPPP. Listen, I understand about professionalism and all of that, but I also like to have, my own fun and my own personality. One day I'll change it, but for right now, that's where you guys can find me. And follow me, and let's have the conversation together. Like, DM me or comment on something and let me know how you're feeling, because this is something that I am very, very passionate about. I like to talk about it because I just don't think it's talked about enough. So, let's talk.
Yay! Thank you, Kiara, for coming on the show. Well, like I always say, everybody, tomorrow is not promised. So while you have the time at this moment, to get up and seize the day. You guys enjoy your day, and we will see you back here, same time, same place.
Bye.
Yeah.